Alright, it's pretty much just a rainy day in San Marcos. I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm about to write a paper, and I don't want to do it yet, so I'm just going to show you my deck. It's Gravekeepers, and I run it, and I've won the last 15 games in a row. I lost the 16th game, but stuff happens. I mean, it's 15 games. Alright, so I run 3 Gravekeeper guards, just for cards they can't have in their hand. Back to their hand. I have 3 spies, bring cards out. Mostly my my spear soldiers and my assailants. Then I have 3 recruiters to get them in my hand. My 2 spear soldiers, they have piercing. Okay, I have 2 curses for just 1,000 damage. 2 assailants switch battle position, so they always come in hand just to kill monsters with high attack and low defense when Necro Valley's in play, so it always works out. So I have 2 charms right here. These 2 cards, they pretty much don't let my Gravekeepers die, but I still take the life points. So, I mean, it's just so I can keep cards on the field and not have to keep playing cards out of my hand. I have my Visionary, Trump card. It's a specialty card of this deck. You can't have it in your deck. My Chief is always a good combo because when you play him, you can get 1 more Gravekeeper out of your graveyard, and then you can actually use Monster Reborns while this card's on the field, even though I don't have a Monster Reborn in this deck. It's just always a help to get cards out of your graveyard, even when they can't because Necro Valley's in play. Okay, I have the Gravekeeper Watcher, and say if you're going to do pretty much any type of effect which you have to discard a card from your hand, this negates it with discarding this card, and then I can always get it out of my graveyard and bring it back to my hand with the Gravekeeper Steals, so it always works out pretty good. Okay, I have 1 Descent. Most people carry 3 of these, but to me, I feel like I'm wasting cards if I run this card too much. So I just have 1 because it has a great effect. I just I tribute 1 Gravekeeper to destroy any card on the field, and it doesn't say that it's only once per turn. I think I can use it multiple times per turn, depending on how many Gravekeepers I have on the field. But I like to run walls pretty much, so I like a good defense. So this card really is negative for me, but I use it time to time to get rid of like cards that destroy my cards pretty much, or continuous spells, because I really don't have a lot of negations in this deck. Alright, so I have a Cannon Holder, cheap 700 life points with tribute in 1 Gravekeeper on the field. Commandant, discard, get 1 Necro Valley on my deck. I actually have like 5 cards that brings my Necro Valley back into play, and have them play back in my deck or in my hand, so it always works out that I have a Necro Valley. Or I have a Regulus. So say if I don't have Necro Valley in the field, but they are destroyed and it's in my graveyard, Regulus special effect, once per turn I can get that Necro Valley and put it back in my deck. So it's pretty much like a recycle tool. And it has 1700 attack, so it's not that bad of a card. It's just a really good one I have in my deck. Okay, I have the Catail Omen. So if Necro Valley is on the field, I can get 1 trap card from my deck and add it to my hand when it is flipped. Also, if I don't have Necro Valley on the field, I can get this card, and when it flips, it'll just go to the top of my deck. So it's always easy to get like a Rite of Spirit or a Mirror Force out, depending on what kind of situation I'm in. If I need more cards or I need to destroy their attacking monsters. Alright, so now to my magic cards. Those are all my monsters. I carry 3 Necro Valleys just because my deck's Gravekeepers, it runs off of these things. Without these, all my monsters are less than 2,000. Really not a powerful deck at all then. Okay, I got 3 Gravekeeper Steelies. So, well, if I have, anytime I can play this card and I can get 2 Gravekeepers from my graveyard back to my hand regardless if Necro Valley is in play or not. So, it's always good cards to recycle. Okay, I have 2 Royal Tributes, and since I have Gravekeeper Steel and cards like Necro Valley and all these cards that I can easily get back from my graveyard, I use these, get rid of all monster cards, and either opponent's hands, use those cards to bring them back. It's pretty simple. I also use it with the recruiters, so I get the actually get the tributes back to my hand, so I get more monsters in my hand. So it always works out. 2 Dankidos, 2,000 life points. Terraforming, I get 1 field card from my deck and add to my hand. Necro Valley. Double Summon always helps to get just more cards on the field. Lightning Vortex, I really just like this card just because my friends used it so much on me, but it's kind of essential now. It's just one of those cards I have in my deck just one of those in case factors. I really never play it or use it. I just have it as backup most of the time. I have a Dispel just for they have just any random situation. Foolish Burial. Most of the times I use this to put cards in my graveyard so I can bring them back with the Gravekeeper Steel, with a Steely or a card of that kind in this deck, or just to give Visionary an extra 200 attack power. Because I don't know, I feel like if I went with Visionary, I went in the cool way, just because that's like the target. I mean, that's the boss of this deck in a way. This my Mystical Space Typhoon. Every deck needs this one, and actually get the one with the reprint, because I actually had a Mystical Space Typhoon that only destroyed quick play Magic cards. Like there's a print out there to where it only does that. I don't know why they made it. It seems really like useless if it's like that, but alright. Okay, now for my traps. Every trap I have no doubles. I don't know. They're just trap cards. I mean, it's just to fuck with people. Nightmare Wheel, Wabaku, Ride of Spirit. Regardless of Necrovism play, I can get one card out of my graveyard and back into the field. You can summon it. Seven Tools Bandit. The 1,000 Life ones really isn't that much when they're playing a trap card that could probably fuck you for the rest of the game. Because that's the thing about trap cards. If you have a trap card that's really good, or they just use it at the right time, that can change the whole game around. So Seven Tools Bandit, 1,000 Life points is always worth it. QC Armor, destroy the attacking monster, always worth it. My Reflex Line, 3,000 defense, always worth it. Rakier Break. Literally in the last 15 games, never used this card. It's only in my card to make 50. It's just one of those cards. If something happens, I have it. A Hero Emerges, pretty good card. If I'm running a lot of monster cards in my hand, then I go ahead and use this card. And then I have my Mirror Force, which, I mean, it's always a good defense. That is my Gravekeeper deck, and tell me what you think. I know most people are going to probably spam it with more, to add more, Gravekeeper defense, but I just don't like that strategy. I'd rather play with walls, safe security, and it usually works for me. I mean, most of my games really don't last that long just because of the wall, and the fact that I can pull so many cards out. Like, I can summon 2 cards per turn a lot of the time, so I can usually like stack the field. I don't use XYZs. I don't use synchros. Pretty much like an old style player, just with a newer deck. Right before this, I was using pretty much like a starter deck, and like type of starter deck back in the day. And that's what I used to play with as a kid, but now I just run this and it works majority of the time. And when I added 10 more cards, I added 10 more cards to this deck. It was a deck of 40, but now I'm on that 15 streak with that one loss at the very end. So tomorrow I'll probably play about 10 more games for the club. I know that I think there's like 2 more people that play, so I'm gonna try to keep them to keep going even if I do win, just because winning's everything. Why do something if you're not winning?